Now, Ben, before we go any further, we've had a bit of a laugh, but you did lose the Reform Party deputy leadership.
I know.
Come on, dish the dirt, Ben.
Where is it?
Very careless of you, Ben, actually.
Very careless.
Look. Let me get this right. You were like
that took a minute.
You were like Gorbachev. You went on holiday and discovered there'd been a coup d'etat against you when you came back.
Are you kidding? I was working my socks off for the party.
Yeah.
I have done non-stop since March 2023. Look, Nigel became leader, appointed himself leader just before the general election. And Nigel wanted his own team at the end of the general election. And the argument put forward was that the deputy leader should be in the House of Commons. And sadly, I didn't win my seat.
But why not? Why not have two deputy leaders?
Yeah, why not?
well, it sounds to me, and I like Richard Tice very much, that our biggest donor has to boot out the way of Ben Habib.
The biggest donor being
Tice.
Tice, yeah. No, I don't think it's that. I mean, I think Richard has absolutely earned his spurs. I mean, Richard took the party, by the way, from 1% in the polls together with me, if I may add my name to that progress we made, to 16% in the polls when the general election was called. But notwithstanding all my contribution to the party, it is irrelevant. What's relevant here is that Nigel is leader, and Nigel has absolutely every right.
You've been done over, though, haven't you?
Well, at a human level, I have, I suppose, because I was a core part of the team that got the party to where it is, and I'm no longer a core part of the team. But the good news is...
Were you shocked?
I was surprised, yeah.
Well, that's the same as shock, isn't it? I mean,
I would say it's one down.
It's one down. It's not DEFCON 1, DEFCON 3.
But hang on a second, right? Just let me understand the transaction. We'll get this out of the way and then we'll do the quiz. But let me understand the transaction. What, you got a phone call from Nigel Farage saying thanks but no thanks? You're sat in the Costa del Sol. I mean, how does this work?
I was actually in Warsaw on business. I was in a meeting. Nigel called. I couldn't take the call. So I got a text, yeah.
A text message.
You do sacked by text?
Well, I mean, he did call, but I was in a meeting and I said, I'll call you back. But, you know, obviously he wanted to...
Can I ask something? It would seem to me that regardless of what the party has been called, whether it's Reform or the Brexit Party or UKIP, in the eyes of the public, it's broadly Nigel Farage's outfit, right? He's so much more famous than everybody else.
Really? More famous than me?
Yeah, that's
God.
Sorry, I could soften that a touch. I don't want to leave you shocked. I want to leave you surprised, not
The
shocked.
man's been through things.
Well,
Not even I'm that mean.
I suppose my question to you now is, having had a good election, perhaps one slightly fewer seats than you want, but by any benchmark, a good election.
98 second places.
Yeah, a good election result. As you now build the party, that model of a one-man leader that's all powerful, all pervasive, I would suggest is not appropriate or of benefit to the party. And I would ask sort of how Reform might seek to tackle that over this Parliament.
I mean, the point you make is absolutely 100% correct. And it's a point that I've been making. It's a point I made to Richard before I joined the party. In fact, I wrote an article in the Sunday Times. I highly recommend you read it.
A very good article.
10 days ago, explaining how if Reform is to stand for the democratic unit that is the United Kingdom, which it does, then it has to democratise.
Yeah.
It's fine for an insurgency to be under the control of a small number of people or one individual because it allows speed of decision and you can get on and, take ground, as it were. But now that we've got 5 seats, now that we aspire...
How many seats have you got, Ben?
Got 5 seats, yeah.
How many seats have you got? 4. Do you know he's refused to do the underpants dance?
I know. Get your underpants out. This is a matter of...
Buy me a drink
This
first,
is a
Ben.
matter of integrity.
That coming from Reform.
So OK, let me ask you this question.
That's why you didn't win your seat.
So you got the text message from Nigel Farage, so obviously you couldn't take the call. You got the text message. What did you reply?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I can't remember. It wasn't...
Not repeatable.
Yeah. Look, Nigel and I... I just want to make it clear, there is no personal animosity here whatsoever.
There should be.
Nigel is perfectly within his rights to choose his team. What matters to me, genuinely what matters to me, is that the party now delivers on the promises it made to the British people, the contract with the people, which effectively means delivering a proper Brexit, deregulating, all that kind of stuff for which we stand, number one. Number two, we mustn't turn our back on the 4 million people who voted for us and the millions more who would have done if they weren't nervous of a Labour government. Many voted Tory, so I'm rabbiting on.
Oh, it's Nigel Farage.
Yes.
He said, I'd never heard of you. Nobody in Europe had ever heard of you. Oh, I know democracy's not popular with you lot.
Yeah. And who are you anyway?
Anyway, well, look, Ben, I think you did well in the general election. It's just a shame that your own seat didn't come in. So we'll give you a round of applause.
Thank you.
There we go. Even Barnes.
No, can I just say, if you'd have ended up being leader of Reform, I probably would have joined you.
Really, Peter?
I probably would have.
Yeah, wow, well, I'm flattered.
Because
Thank
I
you.
think you answered the question as to why I've never had much respect for Reform. We say Nigel wanted this and Nigel wanted that. Until you democratise, it's not a political party. And I think you hit the nail on the head in that Sunday Times article, which I thought was brilliant.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, I hope you do go on to do something, Ben, because I tell you now, the right needs people like you.
Well,
me and you have our disagreements.
Well,
and
they do
round.
also. It is worth pointing out, and we don't. I mean, I don't invite Ben to comment on this because it would be wrong for him to do so. But there will be a series of peerages, won't there, for Reform Party now that they've got 5 seats in the House of Commons, James?
I mean, look, the peerages system is completely...
Yeah, you ruined it.